What up, my freaks? RuinouSinsight here with part 56 of my Total Warhammer 3 modded Belegar Ironhammer campaign. So as we saw last time, we had an episode where we set up a bunch of stuff, namely the advance of our 6 armies into the Exiles of Khorne territory, which means this faction is going to be in a pretty bad way soon, and it is only the beginning as we do have lots more wars coming up both against Khemri and against the followers of Nagash, even while they fight each other. And then we have further setups here outside the Desolation of Drakenmoor, and then we have a Belegar Ironhammer who's in a bit of an interesting situation. Now, we do have the access to the Battle for the Axe of Dargo, but as I said last episode, I think we're going to wait one turn in order to fight it, because I would like for all of these armies to attack and then obviously suffer damage and then take better advantage of the extra healing that we will get via the Axe of Dargo quest. Now, in terms of where we then want to move Angrund, he is at full HP, but if we move him out, the problem is he might be damaged enough by the battle for the axe that he'll want to heal. On the other hand, next turn we should be able to grab the Desolation of Drakenmoor for ourselves, and that means healing here, which means I think we're safe at least to move him out there, and then we can think about where we send him afterwards. Essentially advancing to everywhere we can at the same time. Our empire is really going to spread out, hopefully, within the next few turns. Now, before we end the turn and start fighting, let's level up Belegar and the Ghosts, because we may very well get attacked by at least 3 stacks, maybe 4 if Wallach can reach here. Alright, Belegar, you're at level 30, which means you do now have access to Mentor. I already got your Mentor, okay. That was the main thing I wanted. I still have not decided who to venerate, but we'll see. It honestly doesn't make that much of a big difference in terms of our particular army. Obstinacy is a good pick because of the vigor loss reduction always being a valuable one. Blessed by Grugni and Honored by Grimnir are relatively useless for Belegar himself. We could also start moving through the Inquiring Mind portion of the tree, but I kind of want to make Belegar an even stronger fighter, as ridiculous as he already is. What does this do? Gather the old clans. Was there a reason I didn't pick this? Oh, experience gain for units. Yeah, it's kind of meh. Recruit rank for Lord's army and local... Yeah, okay, no, this is a garbage trait. I guess we're gonna go Obstinacy then. The Vigor Loss Reduction is always useful. We could also go Rune of Grimnir. The unit mass for Belegar in particular could be useful. On the other hand, there's also hard to hit. Hey man, there's a lot of traits and we need 6 here. 6 here, because we can ignore Resolute and we can ignore Relentless, maybe. He's not gonna be much faster than standard infantry speed, so we'll need 12, 13, 14, 15 points just for that, which puts us to level 45, well actually 43 because we have 2 right now, which means, yeah, we won't have room to go through the blue line, but we would then have enough points remaining to get Rune of Grimnir, one of these points, and that's probably it. And we have Thunderer for the organ guns that are eventually going to be in this army, so yeah. Alright, fine, then we're gonna go for full plate, and we're gonna go hard to hit. Full plate. As if any Dwarf Lord except... Well, actually, I was about to say except Ungrim. As if any Dwarf Lord doesn't have full plate, but Angrund does have full plate despite being a Slayer. Anyway, hard to hit first, and just so that it matches. The melee attack, then we've got a few points on the various Ghosts, though not enough to hit the next upgrade, but getting there. Where do we want to put your points? Not sure we care that much about Berikvar Handshake, and I also don't like the fact that it takes out Shieldbreaker. These guys don't have Shieldbreaker on them, so it's essentially losing the only unit that has Shieldbreaker in the entire army. Kind of iffy in my opinion. Leadership Aura Size, you are always near our units. We don't know which... well... Probably we'll be using organ guns, but the 3 points in that does not do really much of anything for us at the current time. Yeah, I guess out of all this, it's probably going to have to be Overseer. I mean, I guess we could go Rune of Grimnir as well. Overseer for now. I mean, you could also do hand-loaded for the extra little bit of damage, but I honestly don't think that this guy does much, if any, damage at all, really. Charge bonus relatively useless on an engineer. Maybe we just go for a Rune of Grimnir on him. For the event that he does get charge. And do we want to put his armor from 20 to 0? I don't think we do. Really, we just wanted ballistics calibration here. Even stock doesn't seem to be all that worth it. Yeah, I'll just go for Rune of Grimnir. Alright, who's up next? I'm just preparing because, once again, a massive attack could be dangerous for us. Armor piercing weapon damage +3 Hero's Army. This is very nice and what we were going towards, so let's get that right now. Upkeep reduction for runesmiths. Aren't the ghosts free? I'm 90% sure they're free. Yeah, they're free. Rune of Valea. Vigor loss reduction for this particular hero. Who cares? Enemy miscast chance. Swell, but not crazy useful for us right now. I'm wondering whether the physical resistance reduction would be better than just buffing further runes. We do use Rune of Oath and Steel and Rune of Speed quite a bit. I feel like we probably prioritize the runes. Yeah, we do want the enemy physical resistance, but while Rune of Breaking and Rune of Negation are rarely used comparatively, these things are much more spammable, so we'll go for the physical resistance afterwards. Next up, King Lun. You're probably just going to continue being fighty. Leadership for accompanying Lord and causes fear. I'm pretty sure he already causes fear, so this is kind of irrelevant. Probably just going to make you an even stronger fighter. You know what? Everybody's getting Rune of Grimnir today, so let's go for Rune of Grimnir for you. But also, like, you mean it to power up Belegar even further. I guess we could start moving through Rorkaz. I mean, I guess we have to go through every single point here. Yeah, these guys have a lot of really good points. I really want to see what kind of stats Belegar will have by the time everybody's level 50. Anyway, Rune of Grimnir for you, like you mean it. And I'm just going to continue ignoring Grimok, sad as it may be. And we should probably actually get Scarred Veteran, but you know what, let's get Rorkaz first for the leadership aura for Belegar, and then we'll go through Scarred Vet afterwards. And at that point, we'll probably have enough Oath Gold to actually level them all up. Alright, that looks good to me. The thing that ties the Oath Gold, incidentally, is the fact that we would then be able to get the stuff that makes them heal up, which means even more benefit out of HP, a higher effective HP. Yeah, fire support is definitely the way to go here. We have Grimnir's heirs for the hammerers here. Grudge against elves, undead, and mankind does not do much for us, but grudge against chaos, as we're about to fight, certainly does. And I believe that's all. You guys can get points as well. Well, let's double check the runesmith. Yeah, let's go Rune of Wrath and Ruin. And definitely Oath and Steel. Oh, you have sharpened weapons and hardened armor. I wonder which would be better. For hammerers in particular. I'm not sure right now, so I'm not going to decide right now. Let's go for Wardbreaker, Rune of Hearth and Home. Both of these are nice, and that's good enough. And then our Thane here, you're the Morgrim Thane. You are obviously going to get Keeper of the Gate, because we want the double vigor reduction for hammerers, when we get said hammerers, mind you. Toughen up for the Lord. Actually, what are their stats here? Oh wow, your melee attack is rather low, isn't it? Do we want to get Indomitable, or do we want to power up Thorgrim instead? I feel like the Thane is already reasonably strong, and Thorgrim's a bigger target, so maybe we'll go like you mean it and sparring partner first, and then we'll do the other stuff. There we go, that looks good. You, Halkenhalf, aren't... you probably don't really care. You're not a real army. You're just sort of a temporary host. I mean, I guess you're going to continue using miners, but if we're going through Mason, we should probably continue going through Mason. Although, better miners. Nah, you know what? Go for Axe Lord first, then we'll continue going through Mason. Alright, that's good enough. Well, let's attack here. We're going to do this cinematically, because it is their capital after all. It's got some decent defenses, though there will be a lot of artillery. Anyway, I believe the concept here will be pretty simple. Bombard the enemy until they're very weak, and then destroy them. And afterwards we'll end the turn. Here we go.
'Tis an order!
Alrighty, there it is, the summoning of bloodletters onto the field. I have been expecting this for what, like 5 battles in a row in the Exiles of Khorne territories, and every single time they didn't have access to this, but this time they finally do. It is a very, very annoying ability, much more annoying than Menace Below, as the clan rats summoned by Menace Below are so weak that they're not really even a threat to our artillery crews. The same cannot be said of the bloodletters, who can easily kill off a range unit or an artillery unit, or even a lord if you get them right in the middle of the enemy units, especially a generic lord, not a legendary lord, obviously. Anyway, they did get summoned on top of our units of quarrelers, and they are going to get shot up in the back for their trouble while being completely surrounded by miners. And there we go. Looks like the first of these guys is just about done for, with Mr. Halkenhaf here helping out. But that's only the first of the summons, and I do expect plenty more. Really dark map, incidentally. I guess it's because of the red-tinged lighting, the red-tinged cornate corruption. Kind of interesting that the red-tinged light also exists in the underway as well. Wait a second. Why is it even red? The sky is normal colored. No, not on this side. Okay, I guess the game colors this just like it does the sky. Kind of interesting there, I guess. Oh, but anyway, our reinforcements are going to arrive on the field. We'll have more bloodletters soon as well. Just going to keep an eye on this, because the next set of bloodletters should be summoned here. There we go. And there's going to be, the way they glide in, I hadn't actually ever zoomed in on their summoning before. It's kind of funny. Yeah, it's going to take a while for Thorgrim and his piles of artillery to move into range, so we might as well watch our miners take on some bloodletters. And, oh, they're going to try to chase somebody rather than actually... I believe they heavily damaged Halkenhaf, who's now at about 60% HP, just under, in fact. And then they tried to chase him off to kill him. But now they're going to get surrounded by miners. It is going to take a time for them to and get brought down by this. And I think for miners, this is actually a very, very bad matchup, generally speaking. The miners' armor piercing is relatively wasted on the relatively low armored bloodletters, and obviously the massive amount of physical resistance that they have. Not that it matters, at the end of the day it's a summoned unit, and we just have so many miners to feed into this. And hey, Khorne doesn't care from whence the blood flows, so it'll also be his bloodletters whose heads will roll. Like that one, for example. And it's not like we get a lot of action shots of the miners fighting. Usually they're just sent into the meat grinder rather than having any actual proper fight, so it's nice to see that as well. Anyway, another unit of bloodletters out, and I do believe there should be 1 or 2 more. The rest of the army, or Thorgrim's reinforcing army, is moving in very, very slowly, because I essentially spread out all of the melee units, the Longbeards and stuff, locked them all into a group with the artillery, so that they would move together with them, so that if the bloodletters were summoned on top of the artillery, they'd immediately get surrounded by our much more effective melee than the miners. So it looks like rather than even trying that, knowing how ineffective it would be, the enemy is going to continue summoning bloodletters on top of our quarrelers here, and that means continuing to get surrounded by these miners. And once again, it's going to take some time to work through these guys, but they are getting hit with mining picks from pretty much every direction, and will start crumbling or being banished fairly quickly yet again. Alrighty, just enjoying the action a little bit. Not much to say about this tactically, obviously. It's just a massive mob of miners. Alrighty, and there we go. I believe that should have been the last of the Bloodletter summonings. Now I'm just going to speed it up while we move our artillery into position. There is quite a bit of bombardment to do. We want to break down those walls, break down those towers, and weaken the enemies inside as best we can. And yeah, once again, this is me wishing that we could fast forward even further, because these guys seem to be moving at almost a regular speed. Honestly, if this was another faction, they probably would look like they're moving at regular speed. And just by virtue of how slow these guys are. What's the speed on the Grudge Throwers? 20. Yeah, yikes. Yikes. And also 20 on the Hellstorm. I guess the 20 is the standard speed for artillery pieces, bolt throwers obviously being faster. Fortunately, they are finally, or at least close to, being in range, and I think I'm going to speed through the actual bombardment as well, mostly because we've seen quite a lot of it throughout the campaign, and frankly, I'm a little bit more interested in the actual fight. There we go, the bombardment is going to begin at max speed with all of the artillery firing at the same time. I didn't order them to fire at first, but now we are having our Grudge Throwers break the towers down, and a couple of volleys will bring a tower down very easily. Alright, a few more of those to work through while the bolt throwers together with the Hellstorm rocket batteries actually hit the units up on the walls. And the second tower goes down. Once the third and maybe fourth are down, we'll start moving our infantry in as well, especially as we do have 4 units of Quarrelers which can fire on top of the walls. Speaking of the walls, we also do want to get a few breaches here and there, and we will be working on them, if not immediately, very shortly. Alright, we moving yet? Just repositioning the artillery so far, and yeah, by the looks of it, since no more enemy units of Bloodletters are being spawned, those guys are done for. At the very least, also splash damage hits from our artillery pieces are going to be damaging the walls, which will make it easier to breach several places. Alrighty, and there we go, the Grudge Throwers are firing at this wall now, and a few more volleys should knock it down, as well as the Cornate Warriors standing atop it. Or at least some of them, anyway. Oh, is that a cultist there as well? It is a cultist of Khorne. Ooh, I wonder if he's gonna fall down into the breach. Let's see. Hey, he's gone. And that killed the cultist. Very nice. Killed a hero and took about 75% HP off of that one unit. In fact, probably did more damage than our artillery have done so far. But I'm sure they can continue working on it. Another breach soon to come, and our melee units are now marching forward as well to start helping matters. I'll take a quick look around the map while that is all happening, as everybody has to get into position. We have fought in this map quite a lot. Oh, what the heck is that? Huh. Wait, is that some sort of massive smokestack? Oh man, I can't believe we can't move the camera over there. I want to see what's going on over there. Maybe some kind of fire or massive smokestack, or maybe something to do with the lava on the map. And I see that the smoke is being sucked into one of the tunnels up above. Okay, well now I no longer regret looking around the map. We've seen it before, but I hadn't noticed that aspect. Yeah, so it might be one of these things. Neat. Neat. Alrighty, how are we doing back here? Still a few more breaches to make, but at the very least our Quarrelers have moved in. Though honestly at this point I'm a little bit more interested in the melee aspect of this fight. Especially since the enemy units are by and large standing outside of the wall, or just behind the wall rather, where they can't be reached. Alright, gonna get a few shots in with those Quarrelers. We do still have about half of the ammunition remaining on all of our artillery. Also, I accidentally missed that there was an enemy tower up here, tier 4 tower, in fact, and it quickly, after a few volleys, managed to destroy one of the minor units. Not that we really care about the minor units, mind you, because we can always just get them back, but oh well. Not a big deal. A few more shots into this poor unit of Khorne Berserkers with dual weapons, or Chaos Warriors of Khorne with dual axes. And at the very least, it looks like these guys are not going to be able to join the melee. And yeah, at this point, we're 20 minutes in, though obviously the vast majority of that has been sped through, and just softening the targets up. And I played this on max speed as well, which is probably why the tower seemed to have destroyed that unit of miners so fast before I even noticed it. Anyway, Thorgrim's going to start moving towards the enemy gate as we continue moving our companions of the hall and other units. And ooh, it looks like the enemy is going to at least sally out a few of its bloodletters here. This does seem like a bad idea. Exalted bloodletters, I should say. It does seem like a bad idea because there are quarrelers out here as well. It's not just Thorgrim. So they probably would have been much safer just staying out there. And the grudge throwers are going to fire on all this as well. But Thorgrim, out of everybody, should probably appreciate that the most. Everything's a grudge. And it also looks like a few more units have moved out, trying to go after... Oh, camera, what are you doing? Trying to go after the companions of the hall. A few Chaos Warriors of Khorne, again with dual axes, are going to sally out. We're going to take a few shots from our own artillery pieces, however. Gotta remember that the Hellstorm rocket batteries are often just as much a danger to you as they are to the enemy. And that's why we're going to send the companions of the hall back and send the miners. And if the miners get damaged by our own artillery, it's probably not going to be nearly as big of a deal. Thorgrim now surrounded by Furies, and we are sending in miners to help him out. Mostly because I don't want to be targeting artillery and quarrels at enemies while they're just blobbing up around a single lord, even if it means a few of our own miners get damaged. Alrighty, and it looks like the Furies are going to be pretty much done there, though one of the minor units is nearly done for as well, and will get off the field. More units from the enemy heading into the breach to prevent Thorgrim from entering the city, but I don't think they have what it takes to stop him. We're also going to send in our Thane and our Runesmith to help him out. Going to pop Patriarch on Thorgrim so that he takes less damage, and our companions of the hall and our other units are moving into the city as well. The other breaches are, of course, places where we can send more miners in, where the miners can take casualties. And through the gate as well. Here comes a Rune of Wrath and Ruin right in the middle of these enemy Skull Crushers. Very nice. Just wanted to see the effect in slow motion for a second. How are these Skull Crushers doing? About 65% HP, and not too bad. Out here we got more Exalted Bloodletters fighting more miners, and while they will probably destroy them over time, we do have some better units about to move in. Some units of Longbeards who are going to help out. And it's not like the Bloodletters will be able to chase the enemy down anyway, or to chase our miners down anyway. They'll have to contend with the other units. Hammerers have joined the fray as well, and against the Skull Crushers with their pretty nice stats, it's probably better off that we do use the Hammerers rather than Miners or even Longbeards. Although I do imagine that Thorgrim and his Thane shall do most of the damage here. There's also a unit of Minotaurs holding the other breach, and I guess the enemy is doing a decent job at holding the breaches like this, although the Minotaurs are taking hits from the Quarrelers as they're distracted by miners, which is once again working in our favor. Actually, I do like the way that that this battle is going. Turned out to be a better fight than I thought it would, which is very appropriate for the capital. Enemy just trying in vain to hold back the tide of miners, followed by the tide of Longbeards, though they aren't here yet, by and large. There's at least a couple here. And a Blood Shrine has arrived to help out the Skull Crushers, but unfortunately the Skull Crushers and Chaos Warriors of Khorne here are pretty much done. And then it'll be time to surround and destroy the Blood Shrine. In the meantime, over on this side, the miners, surprisingly, are still fighting together with the Longbeards now. I hear retreat horns, so I do believe either our miners are running or perhaps some of those Chaos Warriors of Khorne are instead. And the Bloodletters, of course, won't run because they're unbreakable and they're demons, but they will be destroyed. Well, not unbreakable, but you know what I mean. And there we go. Unroutable, perhaps, is the word. They'll just get banished. Bet they're wishing they had that unbreakable buff that the Kadai Fireborn get from the Chaos of Dwarf Forge. Anyway, looks like the last of the enemy units holding here are the Minotaurs, and there's another breach that has opened up in the walls, and even more miners and longbeards heading on in. Not really used to having the dwarfs be the ones to overwhelm the enemy in numbers, but it is a nice thing to see, which is once again another reason why it's nice to have these armies that follow us around with just basic units to add more bodies into the fray. If we're not going to heal fast, we might as well use units like that. One of the units of Minotaurs that routed is coming back, doing their little roll attack as they charge on in, but since we have both hammers and longbeards here, they're not going to last nearly as long as they did against the miners, and are in fact going to start falling as well. And there's Thorgrim to lead them as well. Not the Minotaurs. And there we go. I believe they're down to just the one. Not that it'll matter. Oh, it might actually get brought down by the... No, every single one of those bolts missed. Wow. All right, there we go. Now they finally hit. Those were ranging shots. Let's not disparage dwarven accuracy here. Anyway, I do believe that is pretty much it. Those Minotaurs are dead, and while there are a couple of units remaining, another Cultist of Khorne, as well as, I believe, 2 of the spawn, and unlike the Exalted Bloodletters, the spawn actually are unbreakable, so we will actually have to destroy them. So we're going to work our way through that barricade, move on up. A little bit annoying that the enemy is just waiting right now, though. Like, the battle is basically over. And we have to kind of chase after them to kill these up, but oh well. If we have to, we have to. Here comes Thorgrim and the Hammerers and his Thane to break that Chaos spawn apart. Or hack it apart, I should say. That's what most of these axes are for, and it looks like the spawn is trying to go after Halkenhalf. I guess that makes sense considering he's at about half HP from fighting those summoned bloodletters constantly. But Spawn, you're not going to be able to break him apart fast enough. You will die first because you're a glass cannon type of unit. And if there's one thing that the dwarfs are pretty decent at dealing with, it's glass cannon units, because they are just so hard to break themselves. Oh wow, that thing had enough mass to push Thorgrim way back, and here comes the second. Oh, what the heck was that? What? I have never seen that before. It ran in and then bounced back like a massive distance. I wonder what did that. Huh. That's very curious. Could be just some weird collision effect, but maybe it actually did get thrown back by somebody's attack, and something with their mass kind of did something weird about it. Still, it looked neat. Anyway, I believe this unit will be the last unit that we have to destroy, so we're just going to move up a little bit to try to get around it, as otherwise it'll be one by one attacking, which is just going to take too long. Are you guys really in the way of Thorgrim? Come on. I guess they're also in the way of the Chaos spawn since it's not attacking. Yeah, there we go. And now Thorgrim will be able to strike back as well. Yeah, so I guess these two are trying to focus on each other, and thus the couple of units of Longbeards that are below them were blocking them both from getting a hit in. Alrighty, a couple more hits and the battle will be ours. And I believe down you go. Alrighty, and with that, the battle is ours. The enemy gates are destroyed. A decisive victory. I believe the Cultist of Khorne that was left on the battlefield decided to run away, and the capital of the Exiles of Khorne returns to its rightful hands. Alrighty, there we go. Battle was easy enough, and as per the plan that we've concocted over the last few episodes, most of the damage was to the miners, which is exactly what we wanted. Thorgrim's army will heal to full, and his bombardment was fairly effective here, though I once again am a little bit annoyed at Khornate forces that kind of refuse to fight. I still think that they should either all go deep into the settlement and then all attack together, or all sally out rather than just sitting there and then partially backing off and the battle not ending. But oh well, not a big deal either way. We're going to occupy the place. It is green territory. Got ourselves a free archivist as well. And no student, but at least an archivist. Nice. You cannot really go... Oh, you're going to suffer attrition here. Oh, I don't like that at all. I shouldn't have been surprised, mind you, but no, well, it's fine. He'll heal to full either way, even with the attrition. Not right now, of course, but after next turn when we do the battle for the Axe of Drago. Anyway, there we go, Death Gorge, the capital of the Exiles of Khorne. I'm just wondering whether we should bother trying to turn it into a military hub, but I feel like it's not south enough. Like... We do need another military hub to fund, or to funnel rather, troops to other areas, but it's so close to Eight Peaks that we'd probably just be building everything at Eight Peaks anyway. I think we will take the Atalan Mountains and we'll make another military hub here, because I know that there's iron here at Martek, and I feel like there's also something else there that could be useful. But yeah, here's too close, which is what I'm getting at. Anyway, let's see what else we can do in terms of moves in this particular turn. Barundin, do you need to swap a place? 5. No, actually, you can go to Magritta then. Get a little bit more public order there. Kabzar is doing okay. Not that we need somebody there. Gradnar Copperpot, you're going to make an army eventually. But eventually is eventually and not now, so I think we'll just continue ignoring you until we can get you an army. That's fine. Recruiter Logazor, you're kind of in the same situation where you do want to recruit a few things, but we also want to reduce... Ooh. Well, we'll build stuff in a second, but I guess we can build stuff for you right now. We do still have money. I think we have moved out all of our engineer corps units. Hargrim Ironbrow, who are you again? Oh, you're the other engineer. You know what? Let's just have you two move together. Oh, one of you did move and then the other one didn't. You're both the cunning engineers, right? Yeah. You're the ones that I gave the Prospector spyglasses in between the episodes, so that's fine. Braun Clanbreaker. Not delete, Braun Clanbreaker. Continue moving southward. You are going to join, I guess, Thorgrim, possibly, at least for now. Scav Hogmog. Do we now have Masters of Stone and Steel and Karak Eight Peaks? Yes, indeed we do. So you're going to head to Eight Peaks. What can you recruit, I guess, is the question. Ah, yes, we finally have more capacity for Iron Drakes, which means for our Fire Army. That's it for now for them. We could also build the Trollhammer torpedoes, but... I guess the question is, do we need more in Fimber's army? We probably do want 4. Yeah, this army needs to be adjusted, but yeah, why not? Let's have you build some. It doesn't have to be you that ferries them over to him. It could be somebody else, and I do want to... Where the heck are you? Oh, right. You're not in a settlement. I kept looking around in the settlements wondering where he was. Yeah, build the Trollhammer torpedoes as well. Gotta be careful about screwing over our money making right now. Ooh, we have 2 more capacity for Giant Slayers. I was not aware of that, but I am happy about it, because Ungrim does want those guys. He can summon them directly if we wanted to, but at 7k, it's pretty expensive, and yeah, it's not like I'm willing to lose Slayers for it. Also, Thorgrim still has to get the Peak Gate Guard, but he doesn't need them right now. Man, it would be nice to have 2 more Giant Slayers to fight in the main battle here. As in quest battle. Main battle, quest battle, whatever. It's not important. Anyway, Seeker, you continue finding Grimbrindle. You are still a fair ways off, but you're getting there, my friend. You'll get there, I'm sure. I'm really curious to know whether Grimbrindle has survived this long or not. It would be unfortunate if he had died after we confederated everybody else. Only for Grimbrindle, probably the least likely of all the Dwarf Lords to have died. And I mean that from a loreful perspective, not a Not an in-game perspective, necessarily. Construction market, too expensive, I think, at Karak Eight, and... yeah, okay, we'll just leave it there. Alright, a Dead Rock Gap, what do we have here? High Place and... oh, right, this place is still waiting for the engineers, who are currently here, but can go there next turn, so we can ignore it. Estalia, yeah, we could do stuff. I just thought of another use for a bunch of other things, or money mainly. Build a spice market for now. Forest of Gloom, Arana Mountains, yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of other important things, but here's the thing. Where are the lizards? We want lizard allies, among other things, but yes, where are the lizards? Right here. Last Defenders, you are kind of bordering us, and what I want to do with you is this. Minus 3.2, eh? Blessed Dread are the ones you want to fight the least. Alright, so everybody but the Blessed Dread. How about this? 4.2. 20k. There's probably not actually that much difference. It's still 4.2. Alright, you know what? I know it's a lot of money. But if we do this, we'll probably have a permanent ally forever in Kroq-Gar. We need to start making military blocks. And he's nearly ready for that defensive alliance. So I think we'll do that. And then we'll try to get the alliance going. I still really want to get Karagarud from him so that we complete the province, but yeah, we shall see. Certainly not worth giving up anything that we have there currently. Alrighty, that's good for most of our money, but we could probably build at least a little bit more. Feels like it would be wasteful not to. Death Gorge, you don't need this, at least not for now. You can continue getting income, but you need public order and you need growth like so. Forest of Gloom. Ooh. Actually, would Death Gorge be a good location to make a vaults building for the public order? It's probably not going to generate all that much in the way of money. Where is this? Agrul, Migdal, Gorgazan, so it would affect Khemri, which is a cash cow province. Though it is a desert, so I'm not entirely sure we want to go all the way to Khemri. It would enable Galbaraz to make more money without public order problems. Yeah, you know what? Maybe this will be a good place for the vaults, Makazungur. Alright, I like it. Forest of Gloom, you're up next. Let's upgrade your vaults as well. Ooh, that's expensive. Yeah, but it's probably not worth moving any engineer corps units all the way to here. They're busy. And while we do have a little bit more money, I think we'll save the rest for next turn. We do want to keep milling at the very least the Thanes, but we're out of Thane capacity, except for the fact that we should still have an extra Thane somewhere here. Not the engineers. You. Oh, you're a Thagaraki Slayer. Wait, I wanted a Thagaraki Slayer, but I wanted one that was of the other hero variety. I'm trying to remember what the plan was. Oh, right, we want a runesmith, a second runesmith for the Slayers. Alright, you know what? We'll leave that as it is. Screw it. Let's get back to Tex, and let's continue moving towards Valea's Blessing via the Grand Throne Chamber. Not that that's a particularly useful tech for us right now, but better than nothing. Skip, 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 and end the turn. Alrighty, Last Defenders probably will be even more willing to go for that military agreement or defensive agreement after this turn. I really just want to see whether the Caravan of Blue Roses attacks, as they can't possibly not take the opportunity, yes. Oh, first they will offer peace, and then they'll attack us, I'm sure. Wow, 5k, not bad. They didn't attack Belegar. Wow. They had 4 full stacks in range of Belegar, and they were too afraid. I mean, they were very much right to be afraid, but I still find that pretty funny. Military access agreement broke in Ropsman clan. I take it they've been destroyed. Either that or confederated. Confederation, yeah. No, well, that's actually decent. A little bit unfortunate about the loss of the outpost and therefore the units that we could have gotten through it, but a more powerful Kislev is still something that we will definitely want. And let's get that dwarf district up and running for them as well. Good job, Kislev. we'll probably send a few units or a few forces to help you out. Once we take all of the mountains here, we can start working on Norska and start giving their territory to Kislev. Anyway, I think with that I'm going to call the episode here. I was kind of expecting Belegar to get attacked, but since he did not this turn... Oh, wow. And they did not take Karak Eight, so they're not going to, are they? They're going to leave it there just to annoy us, especially since it's these guys' capital and they can't lose it. Yeah, we no longer see any of the full stacks here. Well, what nonsense. OAI. Well, I guess we'll have to leave Karak Eight with the ogres. Anyway, I'm gonna call it here. Next time we will start the episode off by going for Ungrim's quest battle, the Axe of Dargo, and the buffs that it offers us, which will enable us to attack in a bunch of locations at the same time, and then heal up the damage that we take. I also expect that the Exiles of Khorne will be dead in 2 to 3 turns, which will mean we'll have to pick a new enemy here, though I guess Khemri is already at war with us, so it'll probably be them, as it'll enable us to retool the mountains here. Anyway, stay tuned for more Belegar. Don't forget to leave a like and comment. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.